Welcome, everybody. Sportsbook Review. I am Mike Brenner from The Odds Couple. Today, I'm flying solo, and I'm talking with Ross Benjamin about some NBA action. And what we're going to talk about today is NBA teams with no rest, how they perform after back-to-back games, which ones have the advantage, and which ones really take a hit. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Ross Benjamin. Ross, thanks so much for being with us. Give some insight to our viewers on which team might hold an edge and which teams maybe to fade during back-to-back nights.
Well, ironically, on a day we're giving Pete a day of rest, we're going to talk about NBA teams without rest. So I have four teams. Two of them have done very well thus far this season, and the other two, you may be surprised to know, haven't fared well, Mike. Okay. First of all, the Miami Heat, we know that they're on fire right now. As of this recording, they're 12-0 straight up in ATS in their last 12 games. Raise your hand if you saw that coming. Now put it down because you're an absolute damn lawyer. Okay. So, Miami 8-1 against the spread this year with no rest, and that includes a perfect 8-0 against the spread as an underdog with no rest. A team that you might be surprised has done very well, Mike, because as we both know from following the NBA, especially from a betting perspective, San Antonio, you could, in past years, you could never trust them with no rest because Coach Popovich likes to sit his regulars and starters, and he doesn't let you know until the last minute he's going to do so. But you know what? This year, 7-2 against the spread, including 7-1 ATS on the road with no rest, and 4-0 straight up in ATS in their last four overall with no rest. So San Antonio has been money with no rest. Two teams that haven't fared well. Indiana, 2-8, ATS, 3-7 straight up with no rest, and that includes 0-5 straight up in ATS this year on the road when playing with no rest, and they've lost by 15.2 points per game. Damn. This one's really going to surprise you, Mike. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 2-7 against the spread with no rest, including losing 6 of those 9 outright. And on the road this season, when Cleveland has no rest on the road this year, they're 0-6 straight up in ATS, losing by 10.5 points per game. I'm sure that surprises a lot of you out there. But if you follow the Cavaliers, you know that LeBron James on the second of back-to-back games on the road with no rest hasn't played a hell of a lot. I think he sat out 5 of those 6 games. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that is very good insight, because a lot of our viewers and just a lot of the wagers themselves, when they hear Cleveland, defending champ back to back, they don't consider anything and they just run to the betting window. But those are the stats that are most important, especially when you highlighted Miami Heat. Absolutely. I mean, that team was like 14-30 or something. They just went on a tear, and it just shows you that Eric Spoelstra really is a good coach. He didn't win what he won just because of the talent. All right, he knows how to manage egos. My hat's off to them, and I don't know if that team can get slowed down. Now, the Spurs, you nailed it. In years past, any time that Popovich wanted to do what he did, he would wait until the last minute, which really threw a wrench in the wheel for a lot of wagers. Now, with that being said, since Duncan retired, it's kind of been a little different pattern, a little different routine. And I think right now they're just trying to find their legs as a team and find that confidence. So it doesn't surprise me that they're killing it 7-2, ATS in that span. Now, the Pacers, that's one I had my eye on because I've cashed on 4 occasions when they're back-to-back. They're an up-and-coming team. They're young. They're learning, again, led by Paul George, the vet. But when teams like that do extremely well early in the season, especially, back-to-back nights are what haunts them, and that's when it really catches up. So I love that breakdown. Now, with that being said, what are your thoughts on Miami Heat moving forward? Can they keep this surge going, or do you think that, something's going to happen along the way and they might come back down to earth?
Well, I mean, obviously, me and you both know they're not going to be able to keep up at this torrid pace. I think what you're going to find, Mike, to keep an eye on with Miami is if they continue, which I'm shocked they've gone this far. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think they'll eventually be overvalued in a spot in the near few days or in the near week. So that's something to really keep an eye on, because if you look at their wins, 8 of those 12 wins were very close games. So, and half of them, I think, if not more, they were an underdog. So eventually, because the books are going to use public perception against them, they're going to, put them in a favorite role, possibly even on the road. And it might be a good time to consider fading them because they may be overvalued. But my personal feeling, Mike, I don't know about you, is if I feel that way, I wait till a team has a loss before I fade them, because I never bet against a red-hot team like this.
And I think that's a really, really great point, and that's all about discipline and absolutely knowing that it's about bankroll management. Miami, it just makes me wonder, because Goran Dragic and obviously Whiteside are the beast of that team. All right, they made a big mistake when they let Wade go, not just because of his talent, but because of what he gave to that organization. So on several occasions during this run, I was scratching my head saying, you know what, if D. Wade was still there, this team might really be something to reckon with, especially if they stay healthy. So again, hindsight's 20/20, but it just makes me wonder. All right, everybody, you heard some good insight about NBA teams playing on back-to-back from Ross Benjamin, and I'm telling you, he's got a sharp insight, and you got to do yourself a favor. Check out his website because it's full of absolute value. With that being said, Ross, give a well-deserved plug for your website to our viewers.
My website, real easy to find. R as in Ross, B as in Benjamin, wins like I like to do every day, but it's not always possible. But being a consistent winner is the name of the game. That's what I've been doing. 60% in the NBA over my last 40. How about 56% against the spread in college basketball over my last 194, folks? Do the math, even use $100 a game into the equation. You can see how that money adds up quickly. It's all about making a profit over the long haul, not short term. That's rbwins.com, Mike, where you pay a little to what, Mike?
To win a lot, baby, and I love it. Pull that trigger, Ross.
All right, buddy. Thank you for having me.
I sure will. Hey, guys, I'm telling you something. Do yourself a favor. I've worked with this guy for a long time now. He is one of the absolute, just perfect examples of marathon, not a sprint. Consistency is everything. So do yourself a favor. Check out that website and jump on board. Ross, have a great day. We'll talk again real soon.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.